More breaking news tonight. World-renowned forensic scientist Dr. Henry Lee has died at 87 years old. He's best known for his work on the O.J. Simpson murder trial, the John Benet Ramsey case, Lacey Peterson, as well as the Connecticut wood chipper case, where there was a conviction without a body. Lee launched the University of New Haven's forensic science program, and there's a building where students study. It is named after him.
His reputation came into question recently after a judge ruled Dr. Lee gave false testimony during 2 murder trials. We have live team coverage for you this evening. We want to begin with NBC Connecticut's Kyle Jones, live in New Haven. Kyle.
Well, Keisha, we spoke to President Jens Frederickson today, who said that it is a difficult day here on campus and that it was hard to put into words what Dr. Henry Lee meant to the university. As you mentioned, he's accomplished so much here, the field of forensic science, and the impact that he had across the world. So Lee came to UNH in 1975 and was a distinguished professor here for 50 years. He started the forensic science program from a small classroom that just had a fingerprint kit and began that and then grew it into a program that became known around the world. The program here, highly sought after, and Dr. Lee was known for taking time to talk with students, offering one-on-one guidance. The program grew so large over the years that it is now the 3-story, 15,000 square foot building sitting right at the beginning of campus. It opened in 2010 with a crime scene center and a high-tech forensic room for students. He became so well known by students around the world that 2 years ago, the president said that they went to China, where it was standing room only to hear Lee speak. And he said today that he thought back to about Lee's time and the impact in the conversation that we had today.
There is no overstating the impact that Dr. Lee had to the discipline of forensic science and ultimately the forensic science and criminal justice and just the entire law enforcement sort of academic and professional profile. And so, yeah, we are, it's a giant that never stopped, and we will honor that by continuing every day.
Yeah, and over the years, he says students went on to work in the forensic science and the law enforcement fields, and some even became professors themselves. And though Henry Lee died today in Nevada after a brief illness, according to the university, and so they'll continue to honor him, they said, by doing the work and teaching the students here as they have for so many years. Live at UNH, I'm Kyle Jones, NBC Connecticut News. Guys, back to you.
Kyle, thank you. And Dr. Lee had a storied career. You saw and listened to some of the high-profile cases he worked on. But he also faced a lot of criticism, some of which resurfaced just in the last 2 years or so.
Chief Investigator Lynn Bestoff joins us now. And Lynn, we know you had the chance to interview Dr. Lee several times over the course of your career here in Connecticut. Most recently, though, just a couple years ago.
Yes, it was for an investigative documentary called Traces of Doubt. And you can still see that documentary on Peacock, of course. And we did get to know Dr. Lee quite well. And we spoke with him at length in 2024 for this NBC Connecticut Investigates special. It was prompted by a multi-million-dollar settlement between the state and 2 men who were wrongfully convicted of murder. In part, they argued, because of testimony Dr. Lee gave during their trials in the late 1980s. Sean Hennig and Ricky Birch were exonerated of the murder in 2020. It came after a state Supreme Court judge ruled that Lee gave incorrect testimony during their trials. Lee adamantly denied making any errors, not just in this case, but over his entire career.
So I've asked you about the Hassan case, I've asked you about Birch Hennig, I've asked you about Weinberg. Let's just say you did make a mistake in all these.
We cannot assume, okay? I know I did not make a mistake.
Okay, but
from O.J. Simpson fame.
Our documentary, Traces of Doubt, the forensics of Dr. Henry Lee, examines other cases where Lee's forensic work was questioned. He acknowledged that forensics has changed over the decades, but believes his work will stand the test of time.
After 50 years in Connecticut, I did what I think are the best I can do to bring Connecticut to the 21st century in forensic work. Good, bad, judgment, history will prove. History will prove everything.
We also had the chance to interview Ricky Birch and Sean Henning about Dr. Lee, their 30 years behind bars and their hopes for the future. You can find Traces of Doubt on Peacock and anywhere you stream NBC Connecticut.